Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dan Fakori from Tech and Trek at Hiram College. We're going to walk through the initial setup of your iPad kit. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and power it on. You can do that by holding the start button in the top right corner until the Apple logo comes on. And we're going to let that boot up here. We should have a good charge on it. Okay, and then now that it's woken up, I'm going to tilt this guy a little bit to get it focused there. All right, cool. So the first thing we're going to do is select our language and just walk through some of these basic setup things. Scroll down to my country here, United States. If you have another Apple device here, you can actually use it to set up your Apple ID. Well, I waited too long. For the sake of this demo, we're not going to do that. It's actually best to set it up manually so that everything sets up as the default. So we're going to set up manually there. I'm going to connect to our Wi-Fi here. If you're at Hiram College, you'll want to connect to the Hiram Secure. It's the faster network. And you'll have to put in your Hiram credentials there. If you're at home, go ahead and connect to whatever network you have at home. And if it asks you to trust the certificate, go ahead and hit trust. Then it's going to take a few minutes to connect to the Apple servers there and pull down the correct setup process for your iPad. This setup process is going to be a little bit different for the Hiram College iPads because they are linked to our mobile device management system, which lets us push apps and other commands to your iPad for you. You can read through the data and privacy and go ahead and continue there. And then you're going to see a remote management screen. This is where Hiram is going to link your account to the iPad and let us send you some of those apps. So you'll go ahead and hit next. And then here you'll put in your Hiram credentials. So that's just your username without the email, without the @Hiram. And then you'll put in your Hiram password. And go ahead and hit next there, let it spin and do its thing, and then it's going to install the Hiram College profile. Now we just finish up the rest of the basic setup. So we're going to either create a passcode or you can skip it. So if you click passcode options here, it'll let us change it to a custom alphanumeric code, a 4-digit code, or you can hit don't use passcode. I'm not going to use a passcode here for this demonstration. And then here's where you'd enter your Apple ID. You can use your own personal Apple ID here. If you've got another Apple device and you already have some apps and everything, then you can go ahead and just use your own personal one and it'll pull those all in. If you don't have one, you can create one at this step. You'd click on Forgot Password or Don't Have an Apple ID. And if you don't want to use an Apple ID at this point, you can also click this button. And I'm going to do that. And at the bottom here it says set up later in settings. And you can do that if you don't want to set your Apple ID up on there yet. And we'll hit don't use. You generally want to keep your iPad up to date with the most recent software. So I'm going to recommend hitting continue. If you have a preference not to do that, you can hit setup manually. And then this is for location services, so we can just enable this off the bat and allow apps like your map apps and things like that to access your location. You can also hit disable location services underneath here if you want to just do that one by one and allow those apps later on. So we'll just go ahead and enable it here. And screen time is a really cool feature. It lets you track your productivity and what apps you use and what types of apps and things like that. I always recommend just going ahead and turning that on. It's always kind of fun to go and look at that. And then you've got your appearance. So we've got two different themes, a light theme and a dark theme. On the newer iPads, the 3rd generation and later, the screen is an OLED screen, and so whenever you've got black anywhere on your screen, it's actually going to turn off the pixels at that spot, and so your dark theme actually does have some battery saving benefit to it. So I choose dark typically, but you can choose whichever one you like. And then it's going to walk you through just a couple of the different ways that you can access basic features here, and I'm going to let you walk through those on your own, but I'll skip through them here. And that should take us right into the iPad. And so now we'll swipe up to get started, and it'll take us right into our main menu. I'm going to cancel this little request here. But the first thing you'll want to probably do is go into your settings, the little gear app here, and it's going to ask you for your Hiram password, so we'll re-enter that. And what this is going to do is it's going to link your Hiram account to the iPad. So since we already did that at the beginning in the setup, it's now automatically added it to your accounts there. And now that we've done that, that's verified, and your email and everything should be populating. Up here is where you'll see your iTunes account if you logged in with one, and you can edit your backup settings and your iCloud settings and things like that. We've got our Wi-Fi settings here, airplane mode. You can change things like notifications, your sounds, do not disturb, screen time. In the general tab, we can find more information about the iPad here up and about. We can also check the software here. Most of your iPads are going to need an update. This one does. Since they've been sitting in a warehouse for an extended period of time, they've probably gotten a little behind, so you'll want to go ahead and do that. And you can go ahead and search through some of these other settings here as you wish. So let's go back out. The first thing you want to look to see is if the iPad started automatically downloading some other apps not native to the initial iPad setup. And so one of the ones you can look for here is self-service. Self-service is provided by Hiram College through our mobile device management system, and what it has in it is some apps that we've already purchased or acquired licenses for. You can go hit allow there and continue through this. And so all these apps here are ones that Hiram already has licenses for. You don't need an iTunes account or Apple ID to download and use these apps. Some of the important ones in here that you'll want to use are things like the Office 365 stuff. So you've got OneDrive, OneNote, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Excel's in here. And then we threw in some of the other ones like the Apple specific ones, so like Numbers and Pages and things like that. And you can see my emails and my calendar events are now coming through here, so that's good. So you can just browse through this and download whichever ones you find useful. This is also where the common reading is going to be posted once that's released, so that's where you'll check for that, as well as some other books and other resources. So go ahead and check through there, and if you've got that downloaded, then that means everything connected successfully. Another one that'll download is Notability. That's a good note-taking app. Always fun to go in and start playing with that, and that's also where we're going to go to test out our Apple Pencil. So let's go into Notability. I'm going to skip through this setup here, and there's a welcome note that they already have preloaded on here. And so we'll open up that welcome note, and that welcome note's going to teach us how to use Notability and some of the features, but it's also a note that we can edit. So I'm going to take this pencil off here, and the first time you connect this, you're going to want to actually reconnect it. If you already have it on before you set it up, you'll need to take it off and reconnect it like this, and then it'll go through the pairing process, and it'll pair and teach you how to use it. Some features like the double tap to switch between pencil tips and things like that. And so if you see that screen, then you're probably good. You can go ahead and take the pencil off. I'm going to select pencil here, and now I can write some notes on here for you. And so you can go up here to the bar and you can change things like your color or your pencil width, or you can go to the highlighter or eraser, things like that. But you just want to go ahead and make sure that your pencil works. And when you're done with it, it always can just magnet right back up on top. You can see we're at 100% charge, and if you weren't at 100%, that's where it would start charging. So we can swipe up from the bottom here to go back to the home screen. The other apps that you'll want to take note of are the Hiram College app. The Hiram College app is where you can see your class schedule, your grades, and some other resources like Moodle and things like that. So go ahead and go through that. And then also we have Zoom pre-downloaded here, which is how you may access some of your classes if they're given remotely or something like that. So we've got all that stuff already downloaded for you there. And the other thing to note is you can get your email. You'll want to check and make sure it's coming through. Looks like it needed an update there. So you can go to the email app there. I can see that I've got stuff downloaded here already, so I'm connected. And we also have Outlook automatically downloaded there. And Outlook's just another way to access that same email. Since we are an Office 365 campus, that's a more supported app, so we have that automatically installed for you. However, you're welcome to use whichever app you prefer. So that's the basics, and if you have any questions or have any issues, you're welcome to reach out to Tech and Trek here at Hiram College. You can reach out to us at techandtrek@hiram.edu and let us know how we can help. Thanks so much.